Good morning, שבע ברכה והצלחה של משפחה של הקדושים והטהורים. אברהם אבינו, לך לך מארצך ומבטחם בית אביך. Avraham Avinu is getting an order to go away from his place and leave everything and go on a new way. The question on the beginning is, לך לך מארצך וממולדתך ומבית אביך. It's not the right order. If you tell somebody to go out from his land, from his city, and from his house, if he got out of his land, so already he left the house and left the city. So the right order should be leave your house, your home, then leave the city you're staying there, you're living there, and then leave the state, then leave the country. But this is the right order. So what is the Torah trying to tell us? So the Torah is telling us something, that there is something here behind. It's not just moving from one spot to the other spot, like, and let's say in a normal way. It's something deeper. And before we go into this, the answer, there's something else. It says, "El haaretz asher arecha," to the land that I will show you. In other words, it doesn't tell him where to go. But look at Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu, 1 minute. ויאמר השם אל אברהם, לך לך מארצך ומבטחך מבית אביך, אל הארץ אשר אראך, go to the land that I'm showing you. Okay. ויעשך לגוי גדול, you will be blessed, and etc. etc. וילך אברהם, and Abraham goes like God told him to go. ויצאו ללכת ארצה כנען, and they're going out to go where? To the land of Canaan, Eretz Israel. ויבואו ארצה כנען, and they got to Eretz Canaan. So, two questions. How did he know that it's Eretz Canaan? And then, if he goes to Eretz Canaan, so of course he's going to get to Eretz Canaan. So why is the Torah telling us again? Well, they went out to go to Eretz Canaan, and they got to Eretz Canaan. Of course. So first of all, let's understand what's going on here. What's going on here is, Avraham Avinu discovers God. And Avraham Avinu is being chosen to be our father. He is the one who builds Am Yisrael. And we have to understand, in order to do this, he lives in an environment of corruption, of idol worshippers. And if you want to build something, it's like you go to a mikveh. Somebody goes to a mikveh with a juk in his hand. He's not going to be purified because he's got the sin in his hand. And in other words, if you are still holding the sin, and you want to purify yourself, it's not going to help you. And the same thing is the influence. If you are in a bad environment, the influence is unbelievable, as we will see with Lot, that is going with Avraham Avinu. And we discover very quickly that Lot has a problem. Why is Lot going with Avraham Avinu? Avraham Avinu is supposed to leave everything behind, because when you want to build a new world, you have to leave the whole world, especially when we're talking about a corrupt world. So God is telling me, in the right order. First of all, you leave all the, let's say, the behavior of the country. Certain minagim that they have, whatever. That's the easiest. Then, you will leave the environment and the influence of the environment of your city, which is already more, you are more connected. They can be your friends, they can be the people that you go to work with, people that you mingle with. After you did this, there's another stage. You have to leave home. The environment, the influence of your home, of your father and your mother. This is where you were raised up. This is where you were born. This is where you are attached in the most, let's say, there is no better attachment than the attachment to your family, to your small family, father, mother, brothers, sisters. So this you have also to live. And that's the idea and the right order. There are, of course, a lot of other explanations, but we will stay with this explanation. And we go now to understand the other side of the picture. What happens if you don't leave the bad influence? And you can sometimes do the opposite. Leave the good place and go to a bad place. And that's exactly what Lot did. Why did he do it? It all starts with Lot going with Avraham Avinu. Vayelech ito Lot. Ito, by the way, in Hebrew, ito is with him. And also you have a word imo. Imo is also with him, but there is a different explanation. Ito, physically, you're going in the same direction. You're going together. You're riding together to Jerusalem. But one of you is going to praise God, and the other one is going to have a party. From the outside, both are going to the same direction, the same place. That's ito. Imo, when it's written imo, it means that they are going with the same attitude, with the same mission, with the same feeling, with the heart, from inside and outside. They're going not only physically from one point to this other point, but they're going with the same idea. And this is imo. But with Lot is written ito. In other words, he's got a different reason that he's going. Not because God told Avraham to go. What is his reason? It's very interesting. Lot looks at Avraham Avinu living, and he understands a very interesting point from his point of view. Avraham Avinu is very rich. Avraham Avinu has got no kids. So who is going to inherit all this big Yerusha? Lot. He is the son of his brother that died. And he is the one who is going to inherit the whole big Yerusha. And when he sees the Yerusha walking away, he runs after him and he goes with him. And that's the, how do we know that that's the real reason? We'll see later on. Later on, ויעל אברהם ממצרים, הוא ואשתו וכל אשר לו ולוט עמו, הנגבה, ואברהם כבד מאוד במקנה ובכסף ובזהב. And he's got a lot of herds and money and silver and gold. And then the Torah tells us, וגם ללוט, also Lot that goes with him, had also cattle and tents, and ולא נשא אותם הארץ השבת יחדיו. They had so much that the country, the space was not good enough for both of them. And then was a row between the shepherds of Avram and the shepherds of Lot. And what was the row about? Because the shepherds of Lot were taking the herd, they're taking the cattle to fields that don't belong to them. And this is stealing. So the shepherds of the Roim of Avram told those, you're not allowed to do this. He said, why not? God promised this land to Avram Avinu. And Lot is the one who is going to inherit everything, because Avram has got no children. So this land is ours. Of course, this is not right, because the Torah tells us, Haknani ve'akprizi az yoshev ba'aretz. There are other nations that are sitting here in Israel, and right now the land belongs to them and not to Avram Avinu. So it is stealing. But anyway, this way of behavior from the side of Lot to the side of Avram is starting to shine and show us the picture. And then comes Avram Avinu. He waited for this moment. ויאמר אברהם אל לוט, אל נא תהי מריבה ממנו. I don't want to fight. We are brothers. כי אנשים אחים אנחנו. Here, the whole country here, choose where you want to go. If you go left, I go right. If you go right, I go left. וישא לוט את עיניו, and Lot looks around, and he sees כיכר הירדן. He sees this valley that is full with trees and how do you say, all the like, it looks an unbelievable, like a garden. It says כולם משקה, water, gardens. In other words, there's a lot to eat for his herds, for the cattle. And the Torah says, לפני שחט השם את סדום וגמורה. This is the place of Sodom and Gomorrah. And we all know how the place looks today. Desert. Nothing grows there. So this is not the case. In this moment, when Lot looks at it, it's an unbelievable place. With fruits, with all the good of the world. ויבחר לו לוט את כל כיכר הירדן. And he chooses to live there. ויסע לוט מקדם ויפרדו איש מאחיו, and they separate, and Avram Avinu goes to his place, Lot goes to his place, and look what's written now. ולוט ישב בערי הכיכר, and he sits there, ויהל עד סדום, and he puts his tents to the border, maybe in Sodom. And the Torah says, ואנשי סדום רעים וחטאים להשם מאוד. And they say the people of Sodom are are sinners, great sinners, like very, very bad people. Corruption and everything, we all know about Sodom. And this is where it chooses to live. And if we didn't understand the point, comes the war. And, by the way, God reveals himself to Avraham Avinu only after Lot leaves. But we're not going to go into this. There is now the first war in the Bible. And after this war, what happens is, 1 minute, Melech, king of Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah and Zeboim, they go to fight with the other kings, and they lose the war. And what's happening is, they take all the property, all the money and the gold of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all the food they have. And they take also Lot and his possessions, Ben Achi Avram, which is also a very interesting point, but we're not going to go into it. And they go with him, and he sits in Sodom. 1 minute. How can he sit in Sodom when they took him away? What's the Torah trying to tell us? What the Torah is trying to tell us, that maybe physically they took him out of Sodom, but spiritually, where is Lot sitting? He is still in his mind and his behavior in Sodom. And if we want to be sure about this, what happens when Avraham Avinu wins the war, rescues Lot, brings him back? Where is Lot going? He's going back to Sodom, to this corrupt place. And afterwards he also becomes a judge in Sodom. But that's a later story. The interesting thing here is the influence of corruption, the influence of bad society, of bad environment. Lot comes from the house of Avraham Avinu. He saw only good things there. Chesed, love, good deeds. But when he connected himself, because of his lust for money and other things, to the people of Sodom, the corruption of them got to him. And this is something that we have to learn and be aware and get as far as we can from bad society, from bad friends. John, my wife, she saw a few years ago a program on television on a few ladies that did, let's say, did sins, but tax things, like didn't pay taxes or corruption. But they came from very good homes, and they were judged, and they had to go to jail for a few months. So they interviewed those ladies before they went into jail, and they interviewed them after they got out of jail. And it was unbelievable. The interview before jail, you see the intelligent women talking, because they came from good homes, but they didn't pay taxes and did like what you call the white collar crime. And they were talking so with a high language, with a high English. Wow, unbelievable. It was an English program. Anyway, when they got out of jail and they interviewed them, you couldn't believe the language they were talking. They were talking like low life, cursing, talking dirty language. What happened? They've been in jail. And in jail, they were living amongst robbers and who knows who what. All those women who did very, very bad crimes. Like the low life of the society. And they were there for a few months. And the influence got into them. That the language, so the behavior, there was unbelievable. That's the influence. We had it also with us, our son went to a school, and the school was not exactly the best society there. And eventually we took him out, because he was coming home and starting to talk like those other students that he learned with that were, unfortunately, not from very good homes. And this is the story of Lot. And this is what the Torah is trying to tell us. Lech lecha ma'artzecha v'moldecha bet avicha. Each one of us has to walk away from the bad places, from the bad influence, and start his new way. And to start a new good way, to open a new page, you can only do if you first of all leave all the bad behind, the bad environment, the bad influence. Lech lecha ma'artzecha u'ma'artzecha bet avicha. And then you will come to the Aretz Asher Areka. And we were talking about, like very shortly, I'm talking about it. How did Avraham Avinu know where to go? So again, another interesting point in the Parsha. First of all, as we said, leave the bad and then start the good. But then the journey of Avraham Avinu to Eretz Canaan. Do you know when it started? I'll tell you. The Mishnah says in Pirkei Avot, 10 dorot minoach ad Avraham ich'isu et HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 10 generations from Noach till the generation of Avraham were making, let's say, were sinners. They did the bad in the eyes of God. And Avraham Avinu ba velakach schar kulam. And then Avraham Avinu comes and he takes the reward of all those 10 generations. 1 minute. What reward? What reward? What are you talking about? They were sinners. What, a reward on the sins? What's going on here? Says the Rav Nebenzahl an unbelievable thing. Noach, when he went out of the Teiva, you know where he should have gone? To Canaan, Eretz Israel. Unfortunately, Nimrod stops on the way and he decides to build a tower to go to God. We all know the story. And this is, and it doesn't end the journey, he doesn't go to Canaan, he stops. And then look, Nahor, he gives birth to Terach, Terach gives birth to Avram, and then look what's happening. Avram and Sarah getting married, there were no children, and we all know the bad experience that he had there in Ur Kasdim. That is where they are. 1 minute. וימות הרן על פני תרח אביו בארץ מולדתו באור כסדים. ויקח אברהם ונחור להם נשים, and then, ויקח תרח, and תרח takes אברהם בנו, ואת לוט בן ארם בן בנו, ואת שרי כלתו אשת אברהם בן בנו, ויצאו איתם מאור כסדים, they go out of אור כסדים, which is also is making the question of, when God tells him, לך לך מארצך, ובתך מבית אביך, he already left the place where he was born, which was in אור כסדים. So what are we talking about? Again, it's making our argument even better. And Terach takes his son and lechet arza Canaan. Where does he go? It's written very clearly, to Canaan. But vayavohu ad Haran vayishvu sham. They stop in Haran. They don't go on. So then, when God is telling Abraham, Lech lecha ma'atzcha v'avchem bet avicha el haaretz asher areka, Abraham knows exactly where to go. He has to go and finish the journey that was started 10 generations before by Noach and was stopped a few times on the way, and he is the one who is finishing. And that's why it's written, 1 minute, ויצאו ללכת ארצה כנען. God didn't tell him where, but he knows it's Eretz Canaan. This is where already his father tried to get there, and he also didn't get there. Vayavohu arza Canaan. He is finishing the journey that started 10 generations before, and this is the reward that he's getting. He is getting the reward of this journey because he ended. The one who finishes the mitzvah goes to him. And all those generations were making God angry. They did the bad in the eyes of God because they didn't finish the journey they were supposed to finish. And the only one who finished it after 10 generations is Avraham Avinu. So let's us all start a new generation of Lech Lecha, leave the bad behind, and also finish the generation and build a much better place. All the best.